Hello friends, welcome back. In this video we'll talk about Apache Log4j with Spring Boot. Okay, so as you guys know that Log4j is our library to capture the logs, right? So we are going to make use of Apache Log4j with Spring Boot. Okay, so guys, in this video I will explain everything you need to know about Log4j and how it works with Spring Boot. Alright, so that being said, let's begin the video. Now guys, Log4j, it is a Java library and it is written in Java only. Okay, it is open source as well. Alright, Log4j architecture. So Log4j follows a layered architecture. So basically there are three layers and each layer is used to provide different objects to perform different tasks. Okay, so we'll talk about all three layers in this video. The very first layer or the very first object is logger object. It is used to enable the Log4j in Java application. Okay, and it is also responsible for taking logging information. Alright guys, logger object provides various methods like debug, info, warn, error and fatal to capture the different log level details. Alright, so we'll talk about each one in the demo section. Alright guys, next object is appender object. So appender object is responsible for publishing logging information to various destinations like file, database, console or syslogs, right? So basically you can use appenders to configure your destination where you want to capture the logs. Okay, Log4j provides various types of the appenders like file appender. So there are two variants of file appender. One is rolling file appender, second one is daily rolling file appender. Okay, then we have console appender. So guys, console appender, if you want to print the logs on console. Okay, JDBC appender is when you want to capture the logs in database. Guys, SMTP appender is basically used to send an email when a specific log event occurs. Okay, like for example, if you want to trigger an email notification whenever there is an error or fatal exception occurred. Then we have socket appender, we have syslog appender, we have telnet appenders, and the next one is writer appender. So guys, most of the time we use file appender, either rolling file appender or daily rolling file appender or console appender. So guys, in this video we'll talk about daily rolling file appender, which is most widely used in production as well. Now guys, next object is layout object, right? This particular object is used to format logging information in different styles. Log4j provides multiple layout objects like simple layout. So basically it captures your logs with the level dash logging information, your message. Okay, so level is like info, debug, warn, error, and then your message. Pattern layout, what it does, basically format the output based on the conversion pattern. So we'll see this one in the demo section. Okay, the next one is HTML layout. It formats the output as an HTML table. And the next one is XML layout. Alright guys, I hope it is clear that Log4j provides three objects: logger object, appender object and layout object. Logger object, it captures the logging information. Appender object, it publishes the information. Layout object, it formats the logging information. Alright. Now guys, next is log levels. So Log4j provides different logging levels. Basically we use logging levels to filter out the information. For example, if you just want to capture the error message only, right, then you use log level error. And if you want to capture everything, then you use a debug level. You see here the level 100, 200, 300, 400, right? So if you use debug level, which is 500, so it will capture info, warn, error, fatal, the error message. Here also you can see in the table log level is debug. It will capture debug information, info, warning message, error and fatal errors. For example, if you go and set the debug level to warn, then it will capture warning logs, error and fatal. Alright. Now guys, let me give you an example. Let's go to the IDE. Here we are going to create a Spring Boot application. Let's call it Spring Boot Log4j. Okay. Click on next. I'm going to add time leaf and web dependency. Now guys, if I go and look for log, I don't see any dependency here, right? So we'll separately go and add the Log4j dependency in our project. Okay, click on next and click on finish. Okay, so our project is ready. Now guys, very first thing, let's go and add Log4j dependency in pom.xml file. So we'll go to browser. Now search for Log4j maven dependency. Click on the very first URL and copy the dependency. Okay, I'm going to put here in the end. Control Shift F to format. So guys, we are adding the Log4j dependency in our application. Okay, now we need to update so that maven and then update to download the log4j dependency in our project. Okay guys, now let's do one thing. Let's go and create our index page. So I'm going to create an HTML page, index. I'll simply add one h1 here. Okay, simple. Now guys, let's go and create a controller. Let's make it a controller by using the @controller notation. Let's go and create a function, public string. Let's call it index only. Return index. We'll add the get mapping to root. Okay. Now guys, so the very first thing, we have to get the logger object. Okay, so static final logger equals to logger dot get logger from org.apache log4j.logger. Okay, this one, and then I'll pass the class name here, index controller.class. Okay, now guys, I can use this reference variable or object logger to log the information, log.debug, and then I can write here loading index page. Simple. Now guys, to make use of the log4j framework, we need to create our configuration file, but in development you can do it easily without creating configuration file, right? So we are going to make use of instance initializer block, and what I'm going to do here is I'll use basic configurator dot configure. So basically it will make the basic configuration for you to use the log4j. Okay, now guys, let me just start our application. Okay, application has started. Let's go to localhost 8080. It says learning Spring Boot log4j logging, and now guys, here I can see the log. Okay, this particular thing here is my log level. This is my class index controller, and here is the text that I wanted to print. Okay, this is good enough for your test environment, right? You can check your logs here only, but the same won't work in production, right? Because in production you want to have a separate logging file where you can go and check the logs. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable this thing. Okay, and now let's go and create the log4j.properties file. So I'm going to resources, right click, new file. I'm going to create log4j.properties. Okay, so guys, here I have added some properties to make use of the log4j. So the very first property is root logger. The value is debug is my log level information, and the appender which I'm going to use is file. Okay, and then I have used appender file, and then as I told you earlier, there are two appenders available under file. One is rolling file appender, second one is daily rolling file appender. So daily rolling file appender, what it does, every day it creates a new log4j for you. Okay, then append equals to true, so basically it will keep on appending the logs. Guys, next property is date pattern, so I will explain this particular property in a moment. Okay, then next one is log file path, where you want to capture the log information. So this is the path, and here is your application name dot log file, right? So basically you will see all your logs in this file, app name dot log. You can put your application name here. Okay, then we have next property is file layout. So guys, we discussed about logger object, appender, and the layout, right? So here is the layout pattern. We are going to use pattern layout. Okay, here we have specified the conversion pattern. So guys, for this one, to understand these properties, right, these values, I have a table, and then we'll discuss this one later by end of this video. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll just stop our application and I will restart our application. Okay, so application has started. Let's go and refresh. Now guys, here you don't see your logging on console. Why? Because we have disabled this particular concept here, right? Now, but I want to see the logs. So where will I find my logs? I'll find my log file here at this location. Apps logs and then appname.log. Okay, so let me go to the C drive, apps logs, and here is your appname.log. Okay, so if I open this one, I can see the log. What it says, this is the timestamp. Why? If you go here in your pattern layout, we have specified this one, date time. Okay, then your class name, index controller. Okay, C, then L for the line number. You see this L is for the line number, and then this is your log level debug, and here is the message loading index. Alright guys, I'll close. So guys, let's do one thing. What I'm going to do is, here I will add more logs, like different levels, like logger dot. If you see here, it provides many function info. So I'll write info level message logger dot warn, okay, message, okay, and then I'll do for logger dot error, okay, and then we'll do logger dot fatal as well, fatal level message, right, and then let's do for logger dot trace as well. Okay, here I'll also add one more logger dot debug one more time and saying exit of index function. Okay, so let's go and restart our application. Okay, it says your application has started. Let's go and refresh. Let's go to file appname.log. So what do you see now? See here, log levels debug. It is appending the logs. Why? If you go and check the log4j properties, you have mentioned append equals to true. Okay, so it will keep on appending the logs into the same file. Okay guys, and then you see here the next is log level is debug info warning error fatal and debug. So why? Because you have used these functions. So info, right, it will mark as debug level as info, warn, it will like for the warning messages, for error it's error here, right? So this is the different log levels that you want to configure in your application. And now guys, I was talking about this particular thing, date pattern. So what it does, if you go and see your log file, this is how it is now, right? appname.log. But next morning when you will go and restart your application, you will see that file from yesterday will be renamed as dot whatever date is today, okay, and you will see a new log file, appname.log file. So this daily rolling file appender, what it does, it basically renames your existing file by adding a date. Okay, so guys, I hope you are getting it right. So what you do is, the very first thing, you have to go and add log4j dependency in your pom.xml file, right? And then you have to go and get the instance of getLogger, okay, and then you can use logger object to log your information, whatever you want to capture. You can also use the different log levels, okay, and then you need to create the log4j.properties file. So this is the log4j configuration file, okay, log4j configuration. Alright guys, now guys, let's talk about conversion pattern. So guys, to understand the pattern, you need to take the screenshot of this particular table here. Here I have put all possible values. If you see here, small c, then capital C is used to write the fully qualified name of your class. So for example, if you see here, this is your fully qualified name of your class, okay. Then we have D is for date, that is what you see here, and then L is for the line number, right, line number of your code. You see here line number 21, 21, 22, 23, 24, right, 28, okay. So guys, point is, you can go through this table, right, to understand the meaning of each character that we have used here in the logging, okay. So guys, this is the bare minimum configuration you need to have to make use of log4j. Alright, there are so many other attributes that you can use, and then you can try it out yourself. Thank you for watching.